Hello and welcome to Cryptid Spotlight Season 2, Episode 1, Shadow People. Most of us all have had an account of these beings. Sitting in your living room, you are watching TV when suddenly something catches your attention out of the corner of your eye. Looking over, you see nothing out of place, but soon the object moves again, and you see what appears to be a human form moving out of sight. This description of events is exactly what many people see, and is just one form of this topic. Many people can't agree on what these occurrences are, a paranormal event, or just simply misidentification due to being nervous or tired. Those that believe that they are actually entities feel that they could be spirits, interdimensional beings, or even aliens. Today we are obviously focusing on the paranormal side. Shadow people are not a new occurrence and have been written about in texts dating back to the 1800s. Multiple religions and cultures have their stories relating to shadow people as well. The Native American Choctaw have what they call the Impa Shalup, who was seen as a soul eater. This being was able to enter a person's mind and eat their soul if the victim allowed evil thoughts to pervade their way of thinking. The Nalusafalea, or long black being, resembled a man but had small eyes and pointed ears. This being preferred to scare hunters and eerily liked to slither around on its stomach like a snake. Not only did these beings exist, but it was common to believe that everybody had a shadow following them. When the person died, their shadow remained on Earth, walking around and haunting locations the deceased used to live in. In Roman mythologies, shadow people are known as shades and were viewed as the residue of a person who died and now moved about from the underworld. A form of shadow person is found in Scottish lore and are known as wraiths, but those are a bit different. In the Egyptian culture, they are very careful of taking a person's shadow into consideration after someone dies. According to the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Shut, or shadow of the deceased, was preserved by spells 91, 92, and 188. If done correctly, it would transform into an Akh, where it would have magical powers and become a blessed spirit living with the gods. So what exactly do shadow people look like, or even more so, do? Descriptions vary, but for the most part they resemble human shadows or just black masses that move about on their own. There is another form described, but I'll get into that later on. As far as what these beings do vary as well. In most cases, eyewitnesses claim seeing the shadow person, and that is about as far as it goes. Sometimes it has been reported that these beings cause a feeling of dread or doom when seen. In some cases, these beings are said to cause direct harm, or have been known to leap onto a person's chest and attempt to choke them. As stated previously, there is another description of a shadow person that seems to become more popular. This being is simply known as the Hat Man and resembles most descriptions of shadow people, other than the fact that more physical features can be seen, and he wears a hat. The Hat Man can choke people, scare them, and absorb fear, but normally is just seen watching people. It is common for him to show up in people's bedrooms, but no one is quite sure why he is there. Many report that he will appear following an increase in activity of shadow people, and almost acts like the leader. The Hat Man is viewed as evil and normally brings doom with his visits. So what are shadow people exactly? In many views, these beings are seen as basically a ghost of someone who lived before. In some cases, they are seen as interdimensional beings that are a race of creatures that can appear and disappear at will, much like the cryptid known as the doppelganger. This theory states that these beings are not actually moving shadows, but are in fact able to become partially invisible. The shadow form is what remains due to different vibrations from living in a different plane of existence. At this point, I will let you decide what you think of the shadow people. I'd be interested in hearing about any of your experiences in the comments below. With that, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.